What's we are live. Well, you did that to me again.
Instagram virgin, man.
Yes,
I told you.
I've got an Instagram virgin with me. He's
Hi, guys.
Stefan Chiang. So I'm just gonna help him figure out how to actually,
Follow you.
follow me.
Okay, sorry about the small screen, right? We can't really do social distancing in this
Setting. Yes.
Yeah, this setting, or rather this phone.
Yeah. So our guest is already, here with us, and well, I'll figure that out later for you.
Okay.
So, folks, this is just our second live episode, and if you watched our first one, we did a subject on fitness. A lot of people were asking questions about what is, bull fit, and we tried to crack that case wide open. So, besides fitness, we're also going to be talking to you about conversations that Malaysians should be having. And one of the main topics that people are talking about today is
Finance, as in the state of our wallet. The state of our bank account. So that's what we're going to be talking about for this show tonight.
And I'm just going to quickly introduce our next guest that we have. He is all over the place. He's got legitimate businesses, which he runs, and he's been running them successfully for many years. In fact, he has been on our show, Hello on 2, featured on national TV many times.
That's right. Since, 7-8 years ago? That's how long we got acquainted to this guy, Ernie Chen, right? So, to us, he's quite legitimate. So, we've done a little bit of filtering for you. So, so you don't have to. But like he said, still do your due diligence, and of course, to us, he doesn't flash his Lamborghini. I've been mentioning, like some fake gurus who keep flashing their cars, that saying that they bought it cash, blah 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 blah. Join my cars. Well, those are. We should run a bit.
We should run
away from that.
Yeah, when you see a Lamborghini and someone says, "I bought this cash," you know what I'm talking about. Just run.
That's right. So almost time to bring our guest in.
That's
so
right.
I would say, folks, if you're just tuned in, I guess this is not such a bad way to spend 1 hour. That's right here with us as we get to peel the topic of how you get to earn more money.
That's right. And, the topics that people think about most, or rather people gravitate to when they talk about money, would be stocks and property. Both are really doing bad if you look at the stock market. If you look at property prices today, they're all really hitting that downward curve. But for some reason, Ernie's
laughing all the way to the bank.
I want to find out what that reason is.
Yeah, that's what we heard. So,
and I think his biggest accomplishment to date, I mean, for me personally, who's someone invested in fitness, this is a man who's lost 84 kilos. I think that's huge. He lost my entire body.
And mine.
And he lost.
I mean, not added together, but
he lost a lot of weight.
84 kilos.
84 kilos.
That's like amazing, man.
So let's try and see whether we can bring him in already. And we're going to go.
2, 1. Dang, dang, dang. Oops.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to do the countdown again.
You better redo that countdown. Here he is.
There you go.
Do you
What's
know,
up? What's up?
You look so much younger, bro, than when you were on our show.
7-8 years ago.
You gotta always look forward to better life and healthier life so they can enjoy your wealth, man. It doesn't matter what you do, no matter how much wealth you have. I don't care what kind of Lamborghini you were talking about or whatever the hell you're talking about. You don't have the good health, you can't enjoy anything in life. So healthy is being wealthy, man.
Yeah. So instead of flaunting your Lamborghinis and all that, you flaunt your health, right?
There
your
you go.
fitness.
There you go. You know what?
Health
Because
is
you gotta look good. If you're gonna need a Lamborghini to make you look good, then you obviously don't look too good. That's the whole idea. You gotta look good to make the Lamborghinis look good, not the other way around.
You're right. The richest man who dresses in rags, right? Walks in a coffee shop with the slippers and all. Those are the really rich ones.
That's something I learned from him.
Did you?
Yes. How to dress down.
Yes.
He was captain of the budget corner.
Yeah, we were always competing against each other, seeing who's stingier.
Yeah, because we're from Penang, Ernie, so kiam siap, it runs in our blood. Even though I'm Chinese, I'm still kiam siap. Anyway, bro, we want to get started talking to you about finance. And before we do that, I just want to quickly, once again, congratulate you on your success with your health. 84 kilos, that's huge. Just last week, we were talking to Kevin Meyer on the subject of fitness. So before we get into talking about money, how did you do that 84 kilo drop thing? Did you use any products or did you use any creams?
I think the only product I use is called my mind, my heart, and the determination that's needed to keep it going. Because a lot of times people think you need a lot of secret formula. You just need to Google out how to lose weight. And I think every one of you know how to do it. The only difference is that I stuck with it and I did it and I continuously doing it. So I'm just going to share with 3 very fundamental things that I did. Number 1, you got to always remember when you want to lose weight, it's from the kitchen. So what you eat is what you become. If you don't buy carbs, you don't buy sweets, sugar, you'll be fine. So make sure you keep your kitchen clean. Clean as in do not have carbs, sugar, you'll be fine. Number 2, you got to work out in the gym. I go and work out in the gym twice a day, morning and night, pump those iron. Because the more muscle you build, it will burn those fat and calories off your body. And number 3, make sure you detox yourself. So I have also become the brand ambassador of my own product, my own detox product. So I take my detox products on a day-to-day basis. So for example, this is my detox product that I represent and that I actually consume every single day. So those are the 3 things that I do that have gotten me to lose 84 kilos in 1.5 years, and then I've kept it off for another year. So that's what I did with my health.
Kudos to you, brother. I mean, that is an accomplishment. So let's move on to talk about finance. You've been coming on board our show, Hello On 2, and you were also disseminating advice and wisdom on money even way back then. What's changed in today's context? We've gotten to be more of an online world. So tell us about your views of money in the year 2020.
I think it was quite some years back when I came onto your show, Hello On 2, where I was teaching people under Millionaire Business School, which still exists, and we teach people how to be financially free in the sense that they will be able to take care of themselves. Because I've always taught people that, you know what, if you're going to just have one income source, you're going to be in danger. A lot of times people don't feel that they're in danger because they're just too comfortable. Most of the time, the government take good care of us. Whenever the government gives us things, we just accept and we think that things will be okay. So that's why this pandemic this time around, this whole coronavirus, I think is one of the best ever thing that ever happened. You may think that it actually killed a lot of people. It got us stuck at home, but it forced us to do things that we never thought was going to be able to be done by people and also never wanting to do. So as you just rightfully said, Terence, it is an online world. So from me teaching people how to make more money back then, offline, today I'm teaching people how to make more money online. So the making money idea and concept is the same. The only difference is that we now need to move our whole entire revenue stream, still generating multiple streams of income online. And this whole entire last 3 months has been so beautiful because I've always been doing 80% of my businesses offline and 20% online. And now is moving towards 80% online and 20% offline. So that's the whole idea over here.
I see. Now, Terence, you see what I mean? He's the epitome of keep it real.
Yeah.
See the way about how he spoke about the coronavirus? The real deal.
Yes.
Now, Ernie, let's talk about wealth creation. How many ways are there to for us to accumulate wealth? In your, I understand.
A lot of people have their own ways of how they want to accumulate wealth. I personally have designed my own program, the way I teach people how they can actually accumulate wealth. So I'll quickly for you the 3 ways that I teach people how they can actually accumulate wealth. Number 1, you got to be able to create a cash generating machine. What is a cash generating machine? You must be able to have multiple streams of cash that is actually printed for you. How do you do that? If you have a job, you have limited time to print those money that you want to make. Why? Because you're exchanging your time, your hours for the dough. So what's more important is that you must be able to work on something that doesn't require you to exchange your time. For example, I run a college, I run an academy, I run an events-based business, I run a lot of different businesses. So I'm not involved in my businesses at all. I'm actually just the owner who asks questions when I meet my team. But most of the time, I've got my team who runs the businesses. So like my college runs itself, my academy, it runs itself. So I'm actually working from home where I find things to do where I can add value to the market that then generates the income that flows. So it's important, the first wealth creation, you must have cash generating machines. For example, a business. Whether it's big or small is irrelevant. Most important is that it self-generate and is automated for you to be able to work on the business and not in the business. So that's most important, which is number one, a cash generating machine. That will then lead it to the second, which is allowing you to 10x, 10 times your cash. Because cash at the end of the day is about you needing your time to spend with your people, to grow a business and to build more revenue. At the end of the day, how do you then become owners of many more companies without you having to spend that much time? And that's what called stock investment. And that's where we look at the stock market, where I'm able to buy into companies. I invest into companies. I'm actually buying shares of the company. And when I buy shares into the company, what am I doing? I'm becoming a shareholder where I'm sleeping in Malaysia, whereas the companies that I invest in America and in Hong Kong, they are working hard to make me money while I sleep. And that's how I 10x my revenue that I've generated from my business. So the second wealth creation is you got to invest into companies in the stock market where you officially become a shareholder, where I will not needing to do anything, where they work hard to make money for me. Now, with that 10%, 10 times more of the income that I generate back, I then now want to 100 times my return. Where do you go with the money? The third wealth creation, which is also what all the big tycoons and rich people in the world do. This is how the rich become richer and the wealthy become more wealthy. So if I want to learn and become wealthy, I'm going to learn from the richest of the world. So if you look at it, this is the third thing that they do. They invest in real estate. They invest in land. They invest in properties. That's called real estate, where you are able to leverage and borrow as much money as you can using other people's money, the bank's money, other people's money, REITs, real estate investment trust, to then be able to buy more properties so that you will be able to 100x. Why? Because at the end of the day, you don't need any income to buy lots of properties. You don't need your own money. There are a lot of discounts, there's a lot of cash rebates, and you use literally other people's money to make more money. And that's how the rich become richer. So bottom line is this, if you do not know and you're not able to use other people's money to make more money, you are not able to withstand that you need to owe money, the right kind of money to owe, you will never become wealthy. So if you're able to generate cash, your cash generating machine, you're able to invest in the stock market, and then you'll be able to invest in real estate, you'll be filthy rich. There you go.
Okay, Ernie. All right, Ernie, that all sounds good, and that sounds really amazing. A lot of people probably don't know that. Some people have heard that from different people. The next part of our interview is basically to get you to focus on the topic of fake gurus. There's so many of them out there. And a lot of them just said what you have said, which is the world is online. And it's because of the online world that we live in, these gurus have come forward. I mean, you've been around for very long. You've been on our show, which is 7-8 years back, and you've been around even before that. But these guys come out of the woodwork, out of nowhere, basically. And what they do is they promote a lifestyle, they drive great cars, but they have the same message that you have. So,
but they did not lose 84 pounds.
Okay, maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
Okay,
that's besides the point. So the question is, Ernie, why should people trust you when you say what you say, and how do they spot the fakes?
I think it's very important. Number one, we don't need to show. You see, I'm wearing a black t-shirt talking to you. I don't need to dress up. I don't need to ride in a Lamborghini. I am looking for comfort. I think it's important for people to remember one thing. If you want to spot the fake, number one, the wealthiest of the world, they do not dress up to impress. They just need to tell you what they do and show you what they do, and you just listen to what they do, not what they say. So it's important for people to spot the fake by, if you had to package yourself to sell yourself, that's when you know it's not the real deal. I always love this picture that they put Steve Jobs Mark Zuckerberg and also Warren Buffett together. You know, Alibaba, Jack Ma and all. You look at the way they dress the way I dress. We don't give a shit what you think about us, you know. If you want to learn from me, you pay and learn from me. I am not going to have to drive a Lamborghini to impress you to then afford and pay my Lamborghini. I don't own a Lamborghini. I don't intend to own one because at the end of the day, if you have driven expensive, fast cars like I have before, I know one thing. You are making money to pay for the cars, and the best part is coronavirus comes about, you're not able to even drive it or even show your cars to people. So what's the point of having all these cars when you have to make money to pay that? I think it's important for people to understand. You make money for yourself to be healthy, to enjoy it, and then be able to do more things with it. So it's important to do your check. You know, you do your check. Like I have a college. You can visit me in my physical college. I think it's important for you to understand. I own that college, and I also run a lot of different businesses. Googling up people is important, and also physically seeing their lifestyle, the way they pose, which is not about showing you the number of houses they have. Because why? You show so much, LHDN is going to come and look for you. You show a lot of your expensive cars, LHDN is going to come and look for you. You know, our taxpayers are needing to check on you. So if you have to show things to get your business up and running, then you're not really that much of a guru. So to me, at the end of the day, if you want to learn from me, check me out. I'm more than happy. I won't be coming to live social medias and be able to sell that to show you my cars. I'm just in my own house, in my own living hall, man. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, that's right. See? That's right. And I was just talking to Stefan about this. I mean, anyone can post pictures with successful people and claim fame by association. I mean, if you check me out on Instagram, I've got a bunch of pictures with Chris Gardner. I've got pictures with Nick Vujicic. I've got pictures with Sir Richard Branson,
former president of the United States.
Okay, Barack Obama. I could post those pictures and say these are my mentors. No one would know any better. But the of the fact of the matter is, they are not my mentors. I was just lucky to be in the same vicinity as them and grab a picture. So background checking those fake gurus and even checking those pictures to make sure they're real, because a lot of them have been proven to be fake, is so important. Ernie, talk to us about all these people out there who bravely post pictures with other people and claim association.
I think a lot of people are using it as a marketing tool, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm sure a lot of people, Terrence, you host the Success Resources event. There are one or two big guns that are really solid individuals. But then again, it's a business. People actually go on stage and market their products. So we are living in a world where humans are greedy. And people buy greed, and because they like that lifestyle. Why? If you drive a nice car, I aspire to drive the car like you. You have 10, 20 houses. I aspire to own the 10, 20 houses like you. So a lot of times individuals are just wanting to aspire to people like you, and they buy that. Humans are just by nature greedy. So they are just selling on the idea that you want to be successful like me, posing with some very successful individuals. Therefore, by association, I'm going to become successful like you. If you do what I do, you will also have what I have. If you take pictures who I think is successful, I would also have a chance to do that. But I'm sure you know, Terrence, a lot of people go to Success Resources events, they quickly go and take a picture with Gary Vee, and then they post, hey, I was just having a deal with Gary Vee and a discussion and blah, 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 blah. All that shit, you know what I'm saying? And I see those ads again and again. So how do you tell a fake guru? Very simple. If they just appear, it's just like how we invest in the stock market. I would never tell my student to invest in a company that just existed in less than 5 years. I will always look at a company who has a track record. They must have a 10-year, 20-year record. Why? If they've been through the economic crisis, the health crisis, they would have known how to come about and go about figuring out how to get out of this. If you've been around just 5 years, for example, you would not know how to get out of the situation. So people like me, I've been through so many cycles of the crisis. So that's why when the crisis hit, my businesses were affected. 50% of my businesses could not move. But I had to very quickly pivot and go online. So within the last 3 months, I set up 5 different online businesses. You see, even to the point of like, I never taught training online. I always taught face-to-face. So for the last 3 months, I never did anything offline. Every one of my programs were online. And we were selling online directly Facebook Live. People were paying, transacting cash to my bank account online, which I've never done before. So you see, a lot of times it's us doing it and people literally banking cash over the transaction online with us. And that's how I realized that, you know what? We are ready. Malaysia is ready to pay you, not just for products online, but also services online. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, you will never know. So I never did online training 3 months ago. 3 months later, all my trainings are online. And all my interviews were offline before. Now everything is done online. So the reality is, if you are a practitioner, you know what works and what does not.
So 2080 become 80-20.
Even the God of Fish is online.
There you go, my God of Fish. And the God of Fish just came about last 2 months itself. I was doing live online talking, and people loved the way I go live, and I was screwing the government up. I was telling people off. And then at the end of the day, I also have my following. So I got suppliers who wanted to do fish business with me, but I only wanted to do premium fish. So I sell the most expensive fish in the whole of Malaysia, Empurau, Sultan King. I also sell cod fish. And then all of a sudden, I get premium Wagyu, Kobe, beef. People, all the premium products started to come to me. So today, we don't just sell premium fish, we sell premium beef.
So the gist of everything we're talking about has got to boil down to stocks and real estate, which we're going to get to. I think Ernie's back. Ernie, are you back? All right. We kind of lost you there for a bit, buddy. And we were getting into the main kind of discussion.
So we were, we were talking about the first strategy, right? Which was the cash generating machine. That's what you've been talking about. You've been transferring your wealth, from offline to online, and you've been generating cash. So that was the first strategy. That makes you 1x, right?
All right. Well, Ernie's not so clear, but we're still live though. So I think there's something wrong with our connection right now. We'll see whether we can get Ernie back clearer. The main question I want to ask him is with regards to stocks, because that's what he's going to be teaching.
He's back. Ernie, you okay?
Sort of there and not there. Maybe leave the call, Ernie, and try to get back in. Is that possible? Because you're breaking up.
Yeah, man, we're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up. So what we can do is we can restart the live session. We are still live though, so we're gonna just leave and then come back. Is that cool? We'll try that.
Cool, that's fine.
Hey guys, we're back and we're live. We apologize to those of you that were watching earlier. I know, I hate that when that happens. I think, something's got to be done about our 5G speeds. Do we have 5G yet? No, we don't.
Nope, we don't.
So anyway, as we work to get Ernie back on the line with us, we were talking about the main crux of the discussion, which is going to be pivoted upon stocks and real estate. Both have taken huge hits because of the coronavirus around the world.
To recap, Ernie Chen highlighted 3 different ways, not different ways, 3 fundamental ways for us to create wealth. Number 1 is to have your cash generating machine, whether it's your job or your business. That's what we work for the money, work for money. Second stage is, and third stage is let your money work for you as well, which is second one is stocks. Third one is property.
Property and REITs, which are real estate investment trusts.
Right.
So we've got Ernie back, and it's good that you're clear now, bro.
Sorry about that.
We're gonna get 5G in the whole of Malaysia, man. We're gonna get 5G, 6G all the way, man. We're not gonna be able to go online for long,
I feel you. So we had 20 minutes of that introduction set, and now we're getting into the crux of it. So stocks and real estate, as I was saying, are two which are the largest hit by the crisis. I mean, stocks around the world are tumbling.
Better.
If you check out oil stocks today, Occidental and the likes, they're all down. If you look at stocks here, the market here, it's also down today. But you're happy. So I want to know, why are you happy?
Yeah, we want to know why in the coronavirus situation where everybody is doom and gloom, we heard, are laughing all the way to the bank. Why? Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand one thing. You see, most of the time, the stock is always on its way upwards, uptrend. So the only time when you can really have an opportunity to buy discounted stocks is when there are crises in the world or in your own country. So whenever there's some bad news, it's always good news for investors if you know what you're doing. Because we are psychologically framed to only start buying when things are doing well. And when everything is doing well, everything is much more expensive. So a lot of people, when the stock is not doing well, they can't buy themselves or put themselves in a situation where you gotta be kidding me. It's going downwards and you're happy and you're buying. Yes, the whole idea is that as it goes down, you gotta average down and keep on buying. Because when it is going down is when you start to realize you can afford to buy some of these shares over here. If it's so high, you know, imagine if oil prices per barrel is $100 per barrel when it used to be. How in the world are you going to be able to afford to buy those shares? So right now is the best time for you to buy those shares. Why? Because it's cheap. And the reality is this: what goes down will go up. That's how it works. So if I were to ask you this question, do you think the world is going to kick back into full gear within the next 5 to 6 months when everyone is back out there? Of course, right?
As long as Donald Trump's not the president.
Well, Donald Trump is going to want everything to be moving and in hot speed, you know? So the whole idea is that they're going to consume oil. If you're going to consume oil and you're going to control the production of oil prices are going to go back up. Supply and demand, fundamental economics, right? So the whole idea is that when the prices are down, buy it now, hold it for a year or 2 years, you will see it skyrocket. I think about 1 month ago, it went down all the way minus negative. You know, crude oil went negative. And then in a short period of time, it came back up to $20 per barrel, and now it's 40. And it just go down for a little moment because yesterday it was up. Today it's down. That's just how it works. It's called pullback. People will take profit. It will drop a little bit. That's when you should go in. But the reality, of course, there are a lot more numbers and a lot more charts that you have to look at. But the fundamental idea is that what goes up is going to come down and what is down is going to go up. You just got to make sure you dare to buy when it's down.
Yeah, let's remind a bit about that theory. What goes up must come down and what goes down must go up. Right, let's talk about in the sense of a retail investor. Right, most people, when they see the coronavirus situation, blah, 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 doom, gloom, everything's coming down. Every day you see the ocean of red, negative, everything's going down. How do you know when is the bottom? The fact is, when it's going down, unlike you, the retail investor would be like, hey, now's not the time to buy. Now's not the time to buy. Everything's going down.
Because I need to put food on the table.
Yeah. So what's the trick on that? No. Oh.
I always teach people this #1 rule, you know, and I learned this the hard way because I got burned myself. It's called margin financing. At the end of the day, whenever everyone go take margin to go and invest, you're always under pressure to do forced selling when it actually comes down. But when you always invest with free cash, if you have extra free cash, means to say cash that you do not need to use for the next 1 year. Money, for example, that you put in the fixed deposit, because the psychology of it is very important. If you use bank margin financing to invest, the moment it comes down, your mind will take you to a different place. You will start to want to sell very quickly when you borrow money to invest. But if you're using your own money, if you don't sell, you don't lose. It's just paper loss. So the reality is what goes down will come up. You just wait for it to go back up until it goes back up. Then you sell. You either break even or you make money. So it's important for people out there to know, do not panic and sell. That's called panic selling. If you're using your own money, I always tell you, you got 100,000, 50,000, don't touch. Keep it in your bank for rainy days that you need to use and pay bills and food on the table. 50%, use it to invest into the stock market. If you were to put inside your fixed deposit, now it's giving you less than 2% return of your fixed deposit. If you were to just imagine this, if you put fixed deposit in Maybank at 2%, right? Can you imagine if I take the money out and then invest into Maybank as a stock, as a shareholder, my returns on dividend yield per year is about 8.7 to 8.9%. Isn't that a better thing to do than to put money in the fixed deposit? Think about it. It's a very simple, logical thing to do. I think if you just understand this fundamental, you will know that you will make more money by just keeping your money in the fixed deposit.
All right.
Plus, you get to cash in on the capital appreciation, if any.
Right.
Yeah,
so
well, I mean,
I've got a question to ask you about another guru who said stay away from the stock market. Robert Kiyosaki says stay away from the stock market. You know, it's bad news. Blah 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 blah. He's gotten called out on this by other people who said stock markets will definitely appreciate. What's your take on it when another guru says I mean, he's the rich dad, poor dad, the man who put, you know,
the big
macro economic concepts into a simple explanation of ES, B, and I. And he's the man that's now saying, you know, stay away from stocks. So what do you say, Ernie?
I'm going to say to that by telling you his ESBI thingy that he has created, the cash flow quadrant, right? Employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. He always teaches, if you're an employee and a self-employed, you will forever be poor. If you are a business owner and an investor, you will forever be rich. I totally tell you that is bullshit. Why?
Wow. Okay.
Why is that bullshit?
Controversial.
Bring it on.
Yes, that's the whole idea. Because it's a fact. Listen me out. Give me a moment, listen me out, and then you tell me whether you agree with me. If you are an employee and self-employed, he always tell you you have to become a big business owner and an investor. You see, the reality is that you, Terence, Stephen, and myself, we are all made differently. We are all meant to do different things. Some of us are not meant to become a self-employed individual. Some of us are not meant to become a big business owner. Some of us are not meant to become investor. So imagine if you're an employee and you do not know what the hell you're doing, you go and start a big business, you get yourself into trouble and you become a bankrupt. And you also become an investor and you do not know what the hell you're doing, you become a bankrupt. So not all employees and self-employed are meant to be a big business owner and also an investor. And not all investors and big business owners always are big business owners and investors that make money. There are a lot of investors, especially you mentioned retail investors, and all these big business owners, especially in coronavirus. Guess what? A lot of people are going bankrupt and they're shutting down. So it's proven that, no, you don't need to become a big business owner and investor, because why? There are a lot of my students who are employees who make lots of money from the stock market. There are also a lot of chairmen, big CEOs of multinational companies who are professional managers who own shares in those companies who then become very rich. You don't need to be the 100% full owner. You just need to be investor. So big employees, managing directors can make lots of money. So that concept of if you're on the left side of being an employee and self-employed, you're poor, and on the right side, you're rich, that to me is bullshit. Because why? It's proven a fact that you can go either way. Anybody can become rich and anybody can become poor in any of the quadrant.
Wow, that's a refreshing look at the whole concept, and that's Ernie's opinion on the matter. I'm going to bring out one more sort of guru's concept, and then I'm going to hand it over to Stefan to take over a little bit for questions. Grant Cardone, he's in some kind of trouble right now. He said, you know, you shouldn't be defensive with your money. You should also go out and attack, because if you keep defending your money, you're always going to be in that position where you're worried and you're not sure about whether or not you're going to lose money. However, you should have a mindset of attacking, which is like, you know, going out there and getting things done and taking risks. What's your take on that?
I think we need to always remember one thing, which is it's great to be inspired by all this aggressive attacking approach of making money, but we always need to realize one thing. Not everyone is an Ernie Chen, where I am able to pivot and have that kind of balls and guts to do the things that a lot of people don't do out there. So we need to understand and remember, not everyone is a Grant Cardone who's able to take the kind of risks and the kind of shit that they have to go through. Most people are the 80% or the 90% of the world who is able to make money the way they make at their ability, because it's not about IQ, it's about EQ at the end of the day. And to go through and build that EQ, you got to go through a lot of hell and shit, a lot of failures to build you up. I think that's important for people to remember and understand. Or else you cannot just go to a big hall, like an event that Terence hosts all the time. There are all these people who aspire to become more successful. Yes, we want to inspire and provide people that motivation, encouragement that you can do more. But the reality is this, not everyone can do more, be more in the shortest period of time. Ernie Chen, like you said, was here before I even came onto your show for many years. You hear about my successes, you didn't hear about my failures. Till today, I am still failing. That's why I do not allow my students to take margin financing to invest, because I got burned myself. When I'm in pain, nobody knew. When I'm crying alone, nobody knew. You see, the reality is that if I tell you not to do something, you better follow, because at the end of the day, you are going to get burned. But then again, sometimes it's good for you to get burned, because that's the best way for you to learn. So if you ask me about Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone with all their properties and whatever not that they own, hey, good for them, man, if you can manage it. But the reality is, how many of us Malaysians here want to be in that situation to think about, I've got 1,000 houses, I got 1,000 apartments, are they gonna be rented out? Not everyone can deal with that. So we should not try to be like that if we are not meant to be. If you say you aspire to own 5 houses, okay, great, go ahead, learn and figure out how to do that. But when you want to go beyond 5 houses to 50 houses to 500 houses, it's a different ball game altogether. And I do not advise people to get there in the shortest period of time. Especially those gurus who teaches you how to do compounding loans and things like that. Those are bullshit. And I believe now Bank Negara is coming down hard on a lot of these people who are doing compounding loans for their properties, stacking for their properties. These are all the same shit, you know, it's just wrong. So whoever is teaching this kind of nonsense, I'm calling them out to tell them, you are teaching wrong things and you're getting people in trouble, and you are also getting in trouble yourself.
Yeah, that's right. We had heard of quite a few cases where all the property gurus, especially, right? Because back then, few years ago, property was doing very well. Yes. There wasn't any crisis, and they were like asking them to bang hard on property. Buy not one, but a few. Buy 5, buy 10.
One shot 10.
Yes. So they are having troubles now. Airbnb just packed up and left, you know, no guests coming in. So yeah, they're in trouble. So which brings us to our number 3, your third strategy, right? The second one was stocks.
Now it's real estate.
Now it's real estate. It's part of your strategy to earn 100x, right, in real estate. But at the same time, you were saying, no, don't do all those nonsense, compression, stacking, blah, blah, blah. So what is it are you advocating here?
Now, there's
property?
two different things. There's two different things over here in property investment. One is you're buying 10 houses at the same time because you're submitting to 10 different banks for the same loan. The bank thinks that you are applying for one loan, but in actual fact, you are applying the same price for 10 units at the same block.
So you see, right?
It's different bank, and all the banks look into your secrets at Bank Negara. They look at the same number. They think it's the same loan. So all 10 banks approve it. It's the same thing. The MLM companies who are doing those financing for you taking up the packages, it's the same concept. Now, to be fair to the property gurus and also the property developers who are playing these schemes, the banks are also needing to take responsibility. The bankers themselves are not stupid. You think they don't know these are the ways the game is being played? They know. They just want the loans to be given out so that is their business. The mortgage brokers, the sales heads, they want those loans to go out. Those are facts. We cannot just put the blames to property developers or the gurus, but the bankers themselves also have to take responsibility. So these are some reality that we have to deal with. They have to be responsible. Now, the game that I talk about is you don't just make that money one time, 10 properties at the same go. What you do is you buy 2. After you buy 2, you buy 2 more. And you make sure all your properties are rented out. Because at the end of the day, if you cannot rent out your properties, then you're just stuck with properties. So it's important for you to understand. Don't keep on buying one lump sum and expecting that it's going to be able to rent out. You got to buy, rent it out, make sure your tenants are happy, and they continuously rent from you. That is the game that we need to play.
All right, Ernie, another quick question for you before we move into final part of this talk set. I want to ask you a bit about what you think if a person is already quite secure. I mean, he's paid off all his loans, he's got his property in check. Is this the time for him to finance, get some money out of the bank, and then do some investments in stocks? What do you think, Ernie? If I paid off all my loans, should I now invest some time to go out there, get a financing, I think it's called financing from the bank to actually go buy some stocks because they're really cheap, right?
I mean, yes, of course, if you know what you're doing. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I do. I will mortgage, refinance all my properties, get cash out so that I'm able to do 2 things. Number 1, when I refinance or I mortgage my properties that's been paid off, I will get cash in hand. When I have cash in hand, if I know what I'm doing, I will buy stocks that I know for a fact that is going to be increasing. Means to say discounted stocks that I can find that will increase within the 1 year, 2 year period, 30%. And once I'm able to do that, I cash out, I'll then pump back and buy back more properties. Because why? The OPR rate has dropped, percentage on the base rate has dropped from the banks. If it keeps on dropping, it becomes cheaper and cheaper for us to get the loan. So why mortgage and refinance your properties? You're paying a cheaper rate to refinance your properties right now. So my advice to people out there is, yes, go get your house refinanced if it's not paid off, or mortgage, get some cash in hand. Learn how to invest in the right stocks. If you buy a good stock, you will bound to make money within 1 to 2 years' time. It comes back up. But you cannot be expecting to go in and come out very quickly to be making the money. So it's important for us to make sure we are able to put it in at the right stocks, at the stocks that are strong. You are not trading. Trading is gambling. Invest for a year to 2 years. You will see the returns, and when you dig back the returns, you can then buy more properties when it's really, really cheap next year. That's what I will be doing if I'm your friends or anyone out there who's interested to invest in the stock market as well as properties.
Not only is he giving away some serious, real talk, he's also dropping some really factual things that you can go home and do right now.
Right now, that's right. Now, Ernie, you mentioned about students. You have students, right? What students are this? Are you running some programs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm running a stock and property masterclass because of this coronavirus. You see, I never did training in property and stocks. I have always been teaching entrepreneurship. I think both of you know that. I've always taught people how to do better business and invest into their own businesses. But because of the coronavirus, as I mentioned earlier on, I need to pivot all my businesses online. So the market has a lot of all these fake gurus and gurus who are supposedly able to invest, make a lot of money in a very short period of time. To me, that's rubbish and bull. You're just speculating and you're gambling. And that's called trading. At the end of the day, the people who really make good money for the long run are what we call investors. So if you know how to pick the right stocks, means to say, I can identify a business that does well with good profits, good sales, with good earning per shares, with good PE, price earning per share to go in, you'll be able to make good money within the next 6 months, 9 months, 10 months down the road. Because in general, if you look at the whole entire economy, every single economic crisis, it lasts about 8 to 10 months. And at the end of the day, after 8 to 10 months, it goes back to the cycle. We always need to know, we always have 7 good years and 3 bad years. Once you're able to understand this, you will then be able to realize what goes down will come up eventually. So right now, it's down. It's time for you to go in because it's cheap. Once it's down, you go in, it's cheap, you hold for a long period of time, you will actually go back up. I think this is the best time. If you've got some extra cash in your hand, go make some. So yes, I am conducting. In fact, I've got a class this weekend at Saturday from 2 to 2:30. 2:30 to 5. I'm running a free webinar, a free session. There's 100 people registered already, by the way. 300 registered already attending this Saturday itself. So you can actually let people know if they want to participate. You should come in and join me, Terrence, and see what I do and what I teach. It's on this Saturday from 2:30 to. It is with the number 012759079. Anyone is interested, please WhatsApp that number. My team will be responding, and you'll be able to join me for 2.5 hours. Absolutely free. If you feel that you want to learn more, then you pay for later on. If not, this 2.5 hours is free.
So give us the digits again. We'll definitely plug that in because we love giving away an opportunity to learn for free. And to learn more. I mean, we've already given away so many free nuggets right here on this podcast.
Our favorite 4-letter word, FREE.
Zero. Showing. Don't show too much.
What was the digit again? 012?
012. There you go. 012 79079. That's the number.
Free. And you can learn more about stocks. You can learn more about property and what all that means. Just before you leave us, Ernie, I want to spend a little bit more time on REITs because I think those are a great opportunity for people to earn.
And undermentioned.
And really, it's a best kept secret. So please shed some light on this subject because there are so many different types of REITs. Personally, I like the health REITs because they're doing really well right now. But, you know, speak some truth to us. Tell us about REITs. What are they all about? And let the audience know.
I think a lot of times people just need to understand the fundamentals of REITs, which is, it comes from the idea of real investment trust. Means to say that if you cannot afford to buy a building, right, or cannot afford to buy a hospital, now you're given an opportunity to be part of a group of people to own a portion of it. So sometimes some people, gurus, they like to show off, you know, I own 100 properties or I own 2,000 properties because they own REITs. Because you own a part of percentage business, that's why you are part of that whole entire thing. So it's a matter of perspective of how you market, how that's the reality of what we deal with. So REITs are very good for individuals who like a particular industry or they like a particular business, but they cannot afford to buy the whole quality of it. So what do? You buy REITs. And that's why people are interested in REITs.
So, lastly, right, you mentioned making money from stocks. It's not just as simple as giving out tips, right? You would show and share with us how to calculate the fundamentals, how to spot a good stock from a bad stock that will tank, right?
Yeah, I never ever give tips with people because why? When people take tips, it's the worst thing that you can actually do to anyone. And that's why gurus, they attract people by the tips. When you give people tips, they listen to the tips. The problem is this, it may be a good company to buy. However, you don't make money by knowing what is to buy. You make money when you know when to buy, to sell. That's when you make money. Knowing the right company is just knowing the right company that is a good company. Even good companies do have bad times. If you go and buy at the highest peak of the company when you're buying and you sell at the lowest, you're going to lose money. So it's important not just learning by listening to tips. Stock tips are the worst that kills most retail investors. So my job is not to give you tips. My job is to teach you how to fit yourself so that you'll be able to know the stocks that you should be looking at and what you're supposed to be buying. That's more important for people to learn. Once you come to my 2.5 to 3 hours program, you'll be able to learn the fundamentals of what you look for in a company. Because at the end of the day, why I know all these things so well? Because I'm a businessman. I've been doing business as a businessman. I know what those businesses want and look forward to. If they got a plan of growth, if they got goods, if they got less debts, those are the companies that we look for and we invest in. And that's what I teach in my class so that you understand what you should be looking for to invest in.
All right, Ernie, I just want to thank you for coming on board live with us. Our connections are a bit choppy at this point in time, so I hope the video eventually will be great and clear. But once again, a shout out to everyone watching to come join you for free this Saturday. Go ahead. We're going to let you plug that in.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ernie.
All right, we'll do the plugging. Thank you, Ernie.